Sometimes it feels like life has pressed pause, not in the obvious ways you can point to, but in the quiet, disorienting sense that everything is moving and yet nothing feels like it's truly progressing. You wake up, you show up, you keep going, even when you don't remember exactly why. Days blend together, questions linger unanswered, and somehow you keep walking forward through chapters you never chose, carrying responsibilities you didn't ask for, holding expectations that feel heavier with every step. And whether you've realized it or not, this exact moment has been forming for a long time. Something unseen has been waiting for you to reach this point. The point where the noise finally softens enough for a deeper truth to make contact. There is a reason these words are landing now. Not coincidence, not chance, but timing. You've reached a place where you are open enough, tired enough, and honest enough to receive what you couldn't hear before. For years, you learned how to survive by shaping yourself into what was required. You adapted, you endured. You became functional at the cost of something sacred. And slowly, without realizing it, you began carrying weight that was never meant to be yours alone. So pause here. Let yourself stop for a second. Take a real breath, not the shallow kind you've been living on, but the kind that reminds your body it's safe to be here. Because the truth is, this moment is not empty, it's intentional. The universe has been trying to get your attention for a long time. Not loudly, not dramatically, but through subtle signals you didn't know how to interpret at first. Through the heaviness in your chest that wouldn't lift. Through the nights your thoughts refused to quiet down. Through the strange emotional distance you felt from a life that once made sense to you. You wondered if something was wrong, if you were losing momentum, if you were falling behind. But you weren't failing. You were slowing down enough to feel. And that slowing, uncomfortable as it is where every real transformation begins. There's something important you need to understand now. Something that may feel uncomfortable at first, but will bring relief once it settles. The reason things feel off isn't because you're broken, it's because you've outgrown the version of yourself you're still trying to live inside. The environments that once fit now feel restrictive. The goals that once motivated you now feel hollow. The life you built with certainty no longer feels like home. This isn't collapse, it's evolution. You're standing at the edge between who you've been and who you're becoming. And reaching this edge isn't a mistake. It's a milestone, one you'll recognize clearly when you look back. What you're experiencing right now is not confusion in the way you were taught to fear it. It is a dismantling, a quiet internal unthreading of structures that once helped you survive, but no longer allow you to expand. The stillness surrounding you is not emptiness, and it is not punishment. It is the pause that naturally arrives when an old identity begins to loosen its grip, and a new one has not yet fully formed. This space feels uncomfortable because you were conditioned to equate progress with motion, with visible achievement, with constant effort. But not all growth looks active from the outside. Some of the most important transformations happen when momentum stops and truth finally has room to surface. When the noise fades just enough for you to notice what no longer belongs in your life. You may feel less driven, less certain, less attached to goals that once felt essential. And that can be frightening if you interpret it as regression. But this is not you losing direction. This is your inner compass refusing to point toward destinations that no longer match who you are becoming. What once made sense now feels heavy. What once energized you now feels strangely hollow. That shift is not accidental. It is intelligent. It is protective. The universe does not strip desire away without purpose. It removes attachment when a chapter has completed its work. When continuing forward in the same direction would require you to abandon a deeper truth that has already begun to awaken inside you. meaninglessness, is not a dead end. It is a signal that your life is preparing to reorganize itself around something more aligned, more honest, and more sustainable than what came before. Right now, clarity is not meant to arrive as a plan. It is arriving as a knowing, a quiet resistance to continuing what no longer. There's a subtle pressure building beneath the surface of your life. Not urgency, not panic, but gravity. A sense that something important is forming quietly, even if you cannot yet articulate its shape. You may feel suspended between versions of yourself, no longer fully identified with who you were, but not yet anchored in who you are becoming. That suspension can feel destabilizing because the mind craves definition. It wants certainty. It wants guarantees. But transformation does not begin with certainty. It begins with consent. With the moment you stop negotiating with a truth, you can no longer unfeel. Readiness is not confidence. It is not the absence of fear. It is the recognition that staying where you are would require betraying something essential within you. The universe does not ask you to leap blindly. It asks you to lean, to soften your grip on the familiar, to step forward without demanding a full map. Guidance does not activate through control or perfection. It activates through willingness, through the quiet decision to move honestly instead of safely. You are not late. You are not behind. You are arriving with depth that could only be earned through experience, through endurance, through moments that refined your discernment and expanded your capacity to hold complexity without collapsing under it. Everything you have lived has been shaping your ability to walk the next chapter without abandoning yourself along the way. This pause is not a delay. It is a recalibration. You are being positioned to move forward differently, not from urgency, not from fear of missing out, but from alignment, from a place where your actions no longer need to compensate for unmet needs or unhealed wounds, from a place where your life begins to feel internally coherent. For much of your life, strength meant control, holding everything together, remaining functional regardless of the internal cost, pushing through exhaustion, suppressing intuition, carrying weight silently and calling it resilience. That version of strength protected you once, but it is not the strength required for what comes next. Now, you are being invited into a different relationship with power, one that does not rely on force, pressure, or constant exertion. A power rooted in discernment, in knowing when to act and when to pause, when to persist and when to release. Letting go feels threatening because identities built on endurance fear collapse. But release is not disintegration. It is redistribution. It allows energy to move away from tension and toward coherence. Guidance feels different from force. Force is frantic. It demands immediate results and constant proof. Guidance is patient. It does not rush your nervous system. It does not ask you to override your inner signals. It meets you where you are and moves at a pace your spirit can finally integrate. You are not stuck. You are being protected from moving prematurely. The stillness you are experiencing is not an interruption. It is a threshold, a space where outdated strategies dissolve, so more authentic ones can emerge. And when you step forward from here, you will not need to abandon yourself to do it. This is the difference between surviving and becoming, between repeating cycles and evolving beyond them. You are not here to rebuild the same life with new decorations. You are here to move differently, to choose with awareness, to create a future that matches the depth you have earned, not the expectation. The door to your next chapter was never locked. Fear locked it. Obligation locked it. Perfectionism locked it. You stood outside, convinced you weren't ready to enter, but the door has always been open. Your life isn't meant to return to what it was. It's meant to expand into what it's never been. The exhaustion, the restlessness, the quiet sense of an ending. These aren't warnings. They're preparations. This is the sacred middle, the space where the noise fades, the pressure lifts, and you finally meet yourself without an audience. And even if you don't feel ready today, you will be. Because readiness is consent. It's the moment you stop asking if you're enough and start saying, "I'll go anyway." You are never walking alone. Every small step rearranges support you can't yet see. Every breath taken in trust opens space for what you once asked for in silence. Your next chapter will not resemble your last. It will fit the size of your spirit, not the size of your fear. All that's asked now is movement without demanding every answer in advance. Let yourself be guided. Trust what's unfolding. You're not done. You're becoming.